Call the meeting to order at 5:05. We'll assume Rick won't be making it. Did you have a chance to review the minutes?
I did.
Okay, so right. Have anything to change?
No, looks good to me. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from February 6th.
No second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? No. Okay, warrants, abatements, and the refunds are signed. Next on the agenda, capital projects.
So there were 3 projects in the pile. So one is replacing the dump truck, which I already have the quote for. The other 2 are Sear and Manley Street. And Sear is the treatment plant in Manley. But I remember with the funding that they expect that these projects are already okayed to go through. So it should be fun explaining at town meeting, but you can't do it. You can't get funding if you're not approved. But you have to go through the motions.
Yeah, we're in the limbo. We're just trying to get it to go.
So I was thinking before the town meeting, I still have to go through the capital budget meetings, but I don't see anybody turning it down. I was gonna put up on our website somewhere an explanation of the 3 articles. That way people have a chance to read it beforehand.
Yeah.
They'll all be asking the one question to see how far we get before somebody asks about rates.
Well, we'll be dealing with that before.
Yeah,
Anyway.
and it's hard to tell until you find out how much money you get, so you can't tell.
Yeah, no, that's the problem. You gotta, particularly what he's talking about, potentially being able to get either no interest or no, you don't know what that funding's gonna be, what the SRF does.
Right.
And you can't say for sure what you need for rate.
Yes.
Until we know how much, it's gonna cost and how much we have to pay for what it's gonna cost. Right
Right.
now, we're just putting in placeholders almost until we know.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, so,
And the dump that you have, that's pretty old, right? That's,
Yeah, I figure it's written in there. Did I write it on this? No, because this is the official one. But it's like it's a 76.
yeah.
It doesn't have a ton of miles, but it's we've been on job sites. We're jump starting it. We're banging on the starters. We put a ton of money into it, so currently it's running fine. But it's old.
Yeah.
If you sit inside of it, it's like driving in a car with open headers. You can't hear yourself think. The throw-up bearing screams so loud at you. It's also you can't hear yourself think. We don't put a ton of miles because we only go out for construction and it goes out to plow and that's it. It doesn't do salt or sanding. So
what's 1976?
yeah.
That's getting up there.
And we run it hard when we dig. If we're digging wet mud, we're running.
I don't want to hear you say you're overloading it.
I didn't say that. I said we're at its limits.
Okay. So those will be the 3.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Actually, yeah, the 10 million that was who came up with that number?
So that's Tater and Howard
Okay.
produced that number in the asset management study, and that's the number I've been running with.
Okay.
Hopefully they stick close to it, because if we prove it, I hate to go back to town meeting.
But
to look for
you're
more.
not gonna know until they get the pilot
Right.
work done and they know exactly what they're getting into, so.
Right, I just know that that's a question someone's gonna ask, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
we need something to reference.
Yeah,
No, they're all, those numbers are, both of them basically are from Tater and Howard's
Right.
doing the
Yeah.
engineering. Their estimates. Hopefully they have enough contingencies, they won't be the low bidder.
Right.
All right. Budget?
the budget, I gave you that, but there's still, the town doesn't come up, they can't get their numbers until near the very end. Sometimes it's just before they print the thing that they get numbers. So anything that's yellowed is an estimated number and bound to go up. But most of my other stuff will now be fixed. The laborers, he's still negotiating contracts with them, so
Yep.
I'm not sure what will happen there.
Just because it's something that came up, I think, since you put the numbers together for the budget hearing.
Yeah.
Lab services, or we just
I
have to
calculated,
change that?
so truly, I took all the chemicals we used and calculated them, calculated how many loads we had, and then went with the highest price and went back through to make sure that I covered like the chemicals,
Yep.
the lab services, every test that we did, I got a cost for, I put it to it, then I looked at the tests we're gonna do this year and I put it to that, so we should be okay unless they keep, skyrocketing.
Like where we lost the one lab and now we have to go to the other. That's
Right,
not-
that
I don't
I
think
can't-
that's gonna throw it out.
The bacteria, yeah, I can't tell. Like we paid, I think it was $13 a test with the other lab, so we should be getting a bill pretty soon, and I'll know what this lab charges.
Alright, so at least know what it might be if it's.
Yeah,
How many bacteria we do a year?
it's a lot. We do, so 19, so 20 a month. So there's 120 at a minimum, and then if we have to pull, for other things that happen, then it goes up. Usually about 140.
Okay. Yeah, because if they go up a little, they could add up.
Yeah, it can add up fast.
But everything else on here, you figure you're comfortable with the numbers?
Yeah, I tried to find numbers wherever I could.
Alright. Dylan?
I know it's hard to read, but if I blow it up much bigger, then it ends up, doesn't fit on the page.
Under the notes under allowances and stipends,
It went down because I can't force people, the test is truly getting harder, so I can't force people, so I kinda looked at, if I hired 2 people in, that they'd probably go to grade 2s and stop. And I don't have anybody, there's nobody to move up in the chain.
okay,
So that's why you see it going down. I always kept it high, figuring people would keep trying, because it's money
Yeah.
money in their pocket if they get the license. They don't have to do anything, they just have to get the license. But it's truly, they've been making the test harder and harder and harder.
so they receive stipends for every license that they.
That they hold, yes.
Yeah, because we need 2s, but they can continue to go up. We still
Right.
increase it.
It's,
Yeah.
they should always continue to go up, because, well, I'll explain that and we'll be getting to that pretty quickly.
Okay. Okay, to move on.
Let's move on.
All right. Superintendent and office manager contracts. Thought it was very nice of you to propose a decrease in your salaries.
Yeah.
So this is for town meeting. What's changing in it?
Just so it's minus 4% across the 3 years. Hers is 3%. Mine is to continue project managing all the projects that we have running and keeping the place going. I kind of listed the projects on mine,
Yeah.
and she has some projects plus to help me with mine.
For the goals,
Yeah.
such, yeah.
The town basically did away with goals. Of course, they never tell you what they're doing. You just find out after the fact.
Was your previous contract 4%?
It was 3. Was it 3? No, wait a minute. That was 4%, yeah. The previous year was 4% also. And I honestly can't tell you what the guys are getting yet because they haven't settled out.
No, yeah, because they're still negotiating.
Right, and I don't wanna.
Yep.
But
No,
I'm
that's
not,
fine.
I'm not that far off.
Okay. You know, with the other, like, department heads and such,
I don't know what they get because they
just,
They go into secret meetings for this,
Okay.
and they all got huge ones way back when.
All right, well, you don't have to vote on this one
You do not
tonight.
have to vote on that
So-
tonight.
Look it over, and, I mean, it'd actually be nice, we'd rather have Rick here the same night, so
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
have everybody here. It doesn't
Yeah,
have,
so
it
I was
doesn't have to
hoping,
be done till town meeting, correct?
no, just before town meeting. I was hoping to have his signature because he's been in the water business now for I don't know how many years. But he's been a part of this department for a long time.
Yeah, between when he started just as a worker or all
Yeah.
the way up. So no, we'd like to wait for that.
Yep.
I wanted to add something under a new business. We can't vote on it tonight, but
Yeah.
it kind of fits in with some of what we've already talked about, is for the next billing quarter to get something of a rate increase put in to get things started. Whether it's a set, we can take a look, whether it's a set amount on just on the basic charge for now, just to start going up.
Yeah.
That did come up at the budget hearing with the selectmen's.
I listen to them and I hear it, but and they and I heard FinCom, with your 5 and 10 year plan, they don't understand that we've done a demand build out study to
Yeah.
see where the town's going. I don't think the town has done anything like that, so we know how much it's gonna build out. Deborah went through it and she got less houses than they did, but your 40B can be dense, so you don't.
Well, I think part of the problem we're gonna find with the demand analysis
Yeah.
is things like Scotland Street really weren't picked up. in
Right,
that.
they're not gonna.
So it's going to be.
It'll be more.
It'll be pretty close to their, probably above their average and under their high.
Yep, and then we've done the asset management, so we know, if we ever have money, there's things to do. But it's
Lots of
having
things to do.
the money first without, the rate payers.
But I mean, where we know, no matter what, we're gonna have to be doing a decent increase with all the projects we're gonna have going on.
And I thought I looked at, I just did Wayne's math, but I took the, 14 million, took it over 30 years and then divided it by the amount of customers and I think it turned out to be like $400 a customer. And then, that would be then you divide it by the quarters. I mean, yeah, it's an increase, but it's not.
No, but I figure if we start, your opinion too on it.
Yeah.
But hopefully,
But hit a couple of small ones
Right.
in the meantime until
Yeah.
we know what the numbers
but
are.
hopefully we get money.
Yeah. Hopefully. But maybe put that so it'll be on the agenda going forward, is to discuss the rates, and we can take a look at where our rates are now and just see what might be a reasonable one to.
We have water rates under old business.
No. Well, the increase was I wanted on the new
Okay.
specifically,
Increase.
so it stays up.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to read ahead, makes me look bad. All right. Did you have any new business you'd like to bring up that isn't already under the old business?
Nope.
And old business. How is the pilot plant?
All right, so the Blue Leaf gave an update. So they began by trying biological filtration, which, and they seasoned the filters and they got moving. They discovered that there were high levels of TOC, which is total organic carbon, which is a measure of the carbon in the organic compound that's in the water. NOMs were also discovered, natural organic matter. NOMs are an issue for water quality. They also found color in the water too. So if a treatment plant is built, most likely we're going to be required to carry a disinfection level coming out of it. NOMs and chlorine create DSBs, which are disinfection byproducts. Chlorine grabs onto organics and then it creates carcinogenics. So you don't want to have them if you don't have to. So they're going to meet this Friday. I don't think I'm part of the meeting, but Blue Leaf and Tatter and Howard are going to meet to discuss, how they should go forward. But I think they've already switched over to doing green sand, because in green sand you can feed in a coagulant in advance, so you can take out the organics and the color.
So they're thinking of not doing the biofiltration.
Right. But that's still discussed at this Friday, and then they'll get back to us what they've decided. And I'm not sure what kind of plant Bridgewater is running, but their new plant came online. They're required to run it 24/7 staffed, I think for 2 months.
I actually met someone who was doing the startup on that
Yeah.
a few weeks ago.
And,
They had just finished getting ready for DEP final inspection on it,
right.
getting it up and running.
So, and I'm not sure, if we start feeding the coagulant, that might change our treatment rating. Which then I'm the only one that has a license and I can't sit in the plant and run it.
And we'll have to push the guys that we have to
Right.
keep going. I mean, but they'll know as they do that design, so we'll have some time to ramp up for that.
Yeah.
So it's not like.
Yeah, they're not gonna
start
build
out-
a plant in a couple of days, and
No,
the way things are going, getting parts and stuff, it's not easy. That could slow things way down.
so, and you don't know, you weren't invited to the meeting, or just?
She didn't, when she was here today, she didn't ask me if I was coming, she just told me that they'd tell me after the fact, so I don't think I was invited, but that's okay. If they provide the updates, I can read it and then I can see it. And I think I knew more than she did when she was standing here, so.
All right, Manley Street, Station 3.
All right, so the bids were open. There were only 2 bids that came in. Hard Engineering came in at $416,000. Dancrest came in at $315,800. So Dancrest is probably going to win. They've done a lot of work here through the years, anyways.
Yeah.
But she's going to go back and just read through the technicalities of their bid to make sure they've covered everything. And it's a good thing because if it was hot, then we wouldn't have enough funds.
Is Hart out of Rhode Island?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've used them before. When we did the tank, the small tank, it had a leaded joint that was leaking under the tank, so we had it all removed and replaced with non-lead.
So any schedule that we know when they're gonna plan to get back to us?
She said that they'd read through it, so probably sometime next week.
All right,
And then you can award the bid.
so probably the next meeting we can
Yeah.
award it.
Yep.
All right. Replacement well.
All right, so I did get an estimated ship date for the VFDs. They're not coming together. One's
They're
coming.
not?
One's coming towards the end of March, and the other one is coming towards the end of May. But those are estimated ship dates, and they are having issues getting chips to finish out the electronics in it.
Okay.
So that's the holdup.
But we can operate it.
We're operating with that. I
Yeah.
can't run the new well because I don't know why it took the thing off the pole, and I can't slow it down. So I'm not gonna run it again until we have both VFDs in line and we can see what happens.
Okay. Asset management grant. That's done, isn't it?
It's done. I think Rick asked me to put it back in there and just keep it there.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if something else came up.
No, nothing's come up.
All right, Walnut Street tank.
I haven't heard anything from them. I know they're working on it, but I haven't heard anything.
We probably need to push them a little bit, but I mean, with everything else we have going on at the same time.
Right.
I mean, maybe once we get through the bid recommendation and they figure out what's going on for
Yeah, I'll give them a
plan,
shot.
just give them another tweak,
Yeah.
touch on it then.
That's all funded and ready to go.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, it's ready to go and it'd be nice to get that thing
Right.
back the way it should be. Oak Hill Way?
The last I know that the town was moving to take action against them. I haven't heard anything more now.
You haven't gone back out?
No, I'll do that Thursday. And start taking pictures, and I'll do it once a week. And the water rates, Tad and Howard knows that they owe us still some explanations.
So whenever they get around to.
Right.
Alright. Like I said, knowing what, the stuff that we have going on, that's kind of, at this point, kind of lower.
Right.
Because until we know the funding, it really,
Yeah, you can't.
we
There's
can't
no way to
really
tell.
know what it's really gonna be. We can't, but we know it's gonna be up.
Right.
We can start moving in the direction.
Yeah.
All right, solar, last time you said they might be
So
doing that.
so he called me the day before and two of his team members were sick, so they had to cancel. So they're supposed to reschedule. I canceled the electrician. I told him he could charge me if, with short notice, and he said no. And I have other work for him anyway, so.
Okay. So they're just gonna get back to you they're gonna reschedule to come out and do what they have
Yeah.
to do? Job posting. I mean, Dylan wouldn't know yet, but the new hire, Brian McSweeney, he will be going before the selectmen. They're
Okay.
doing their final scheduling that.
Good.
So we should have him starting. He does wanna come on board and it went through.
Good.
So it's just a matter of him appearing before the selectmen to get that done and then working out with Wayne the start date and whatnot.
Right.
And then we'll see if we can hire a couple more
Yeah.
as we can find. Now, he's level 2 on his
Right,
license,
he's
right?
twos on both of them.
Yeah, so we'd have, same thing, if anything changes with the plants, we gotta push him
Right.
along to get him up higher. Plymouth County ARPA grant?
So I applied, so they got back to me. The town, I believe the town has had the money all along, but there's 1,371,821 sitting there. Tyler and Howard asked me if we could use, so what they've asked is that I submitted 2 applications because, I didn't know the money, it must have been fixed a long time ago. So what they've asked, since the total is below the cost of both projects, that we remove one of the projects and just put it towards one. So I asked Tater and Howard which one did they think would move fastest. So they said with the Sierra Norman one, there'll be preliminary upfront work, there'll be the civil and the site work that we could get going on if there's money there. So then they asked, can it be spent on engineering and stuff like that? So I pushed back at the woman from ARPA, and she said, she can't definitively say, but it's not, if you're trying to figure out whether it's gonna work or not, that you can't spend it on that. But she
No,
did.
but the engineering for the actual design.
Right,
of
she
the
did
plant,
put
I
in
think.
the line, there's a specific line she, copy and pasted in.
Yeah.
So, it fits, what we're gonna spend on, we're doing it, it's not whether it's gonna work or not, or it's
Yeah,
not
like
a
this
trial.
pilot, they wouldn't apply for because they're trying to figure out
Right,
what.
and that's what I told her, right now, we're going through pilot, and,
Yeah.
there'll be no, once we get going, we're going. So the money can be spent towards that.
Okay. And nobody's after you to file anything else with them
No,
now?
I just have to remove
Just
one of the
remove one.
projects, so you'd probably have to tell me that I can remove the Manley Street one from it.
And we'll be paying for Manley out of the other.
Right.
Out of other funds.
And then
And that's what Tater and Howard thought was the better one to put.
Right, and if, we're in with the SRFs, both of our projects are on that sheet.
Yeah.
So we could get money towards both of the projects, which would work out nicely.
Okay. Do you want to make a motion for Wayne to take off the Manley Street from the ARPA grant application?
Sure. I'll make the motion for Wayne to take Manley Street off the application for the ARPA grant application.
And then it'll be solely for Sear Street and Norman Ave's plant. I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So you can take care of that and get that moving along. And
Yep.
we won't get held up on anything. Good. Let's see. Anything else you would like to bring up? That takes us to the end of what is on of the old business.
Yeah. I don't have anything.
Okay,
Same.
you good?
Good.
Like I said, if you could put that on make sure on the agenda for specifically to talk about rate increases for the next one. So it shows up, and that's, let's see, that's all I have as well, so,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
second. All in favor?
Alright.
Opposed?